Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense. I'm your host, The Backbone. Thank you for joining me today. And we have a very interesting show for you. Today, we're going to go into a story that is just as sick as it is, it's also sad. I'm calling it Noosegate. We have an Allentown, Pennsylvania employee who claims that a noose was left on her desk. And it's just another case of a sick world getting sicker. Uh, the story here is of an Allentown, Pennsylvania woman named Latasha Brown. She works at City Hall in Allentown. On January 10th, she calls the police to report an incident of a noose being left on her desk. Okay, so the cops come in, and of course, this is a big story because anything that revolves around racism or black people trying to be intimidated it's a federal offense. I mean, you're gonna have to do do your due diligence in finding out what's going on here. Well, during the investigation, the officers evaluated the security footage. They interviewed employees. They went all over the third floor, scrounging around for evidence. Between her departure from work the day before and her arrival that morning, um, according to the investigations, there was some shady things going on. The selected city workers I'll read the article to you. The selected city workers were also asked and agreed to provide a bacil swab DNA test. I don't know what the hell that is. However, I guess they do it in your mouth. According to police, Brown declined and later requested that the investigation be terminated. I wonder why. Uh, there is, I guess, the picture of the noose that was left on her laptop. Police said the noose was handed in for DNA testing on January 14th. They obtained a search warrant for a DNA sample from the woman after she initially refused. In late January, the evidence was submitted to a crime lab to compare the findings on the noose. On March 10th, 2025, Forensic DNA Division of the Pennsylvania State Police issued a written report indicating that Miss Brown's DNA matched the DNA profile obtained from the swabs from both the outer surface and the inner knotted portion of the noose after taken apart. The agency stated no other person's DNA was found on the evidentiary items involved in this investigation. Allentown, Pennsylvania Detective Harold Bonzer filed misdemeanor charges against Brown. It should be a whole lot more than misdemeanor, including third-degree false reports to law enforcement authorities and second-degree tampering with a fabricated physical evidence. She will receive a summons containing the criminal complaint, affidavit of the probable cause, and the date and the time of her hearing. An Allentown, Pennsylvania spokesman told USA Today would be on Wednesday, so I'm guessing this was last week. WFMZ reported that the woman has a court appearance scheduled for April 22nd. She serves She serves as a school board member for the Allentown School District and works in the city's community and economic development departments. Well, she should be fired immediately. This is a woman who is mentally insane. She is sick. She's crazy. I guarantee she definitely hates white people. I mean, we can tell that. She probably wanted to try to frame somebody for this, and she was just too stupid to figure out that her DNA would be all over the news here. And it just goes to show the world that we're living in right now. It's a sick place when you have some woman who will conjure up this cockamamie idea of putting a noose on her desk and more than likely would blame some white person. Mostly, I guarantee you it's a white male that did this. Now, why would she do this? I mean, what's her motivation? Does she want to get a job? Was she bad at her job? Was she looking, maybe she was on her way out. Maybe they were going to fire her and she was going to try to use this as a blackmail tool. This goes back to This is like another Jesse Smollett story. Remember when he got supposedly beat up by Trump supporters, but they were like these Nigerian guys, and they ratted them out, and they were all like part of this, crazy gay thing. They were all involved with each other. The Jesse Smollett was the rumor was that Jesse Smollett was probably going to lose his role. He was on some show that I would care to watch, but it looked like he was looking to be replaced, and so he did this probably to get sympathy or to get some publicity, and he just didn't realize that his his plan had so many holes in it. This also reminds me of what NASCAR bowed down to Bubba Wallace, and that news thing was as stupid as it gets. But of course, this was around the St. George Floyd time, and anything and everything that involved black people having to enjoy black people introducing any sort of racial bias towards them was covered by the media. It's always a big media story when there's any sort of uh, black controversy. And the Bubba Wallace thing was a total fiasco. I mean, these guys in NASCAR. I mean, I guess he's the only black driver. I don't watch NASCAR, but I think he's like the only black driver there. They bowed down to him to placate this garbage of a story, and it was a garage noose. It wasn't a noose to to indicate, to threaten you, or to hang you from a tree. It was probably a garage noose that other NASCAR driver garages had. So Reese, this employee who claimed that someone left a noose on her desk. The police arrested and charged Letitia Brown, and with this misdemeanor, she should get a whole lot more than that. She should be arrested. This should be a federal crime. Um, there is these. I think I'm not a lawyer, but I do believe that if there's any sort of civil rights violation, it is a federal crime. This should be. This should also be a federal crime because this woman caused so much chaos in that office and to the school and to the boards, the school board, and whatever other other departments that she was involved in, that she's not fit to serve the people of Allentown, Pennsylvania, and they have to get rid of her. Now they probably won't. They probably won't because she'll make up some other thing that, well, racism brought me to this. The white man brought me to this. And we all know how the hamster wheel works, right? If the roles were reversed and this was a white guy who did this, first of all, it wouldn't be on the news; it would be laughed at. But second, if that man lied about being harassed by black people or intimidated by black people, and he lied about this, he'd be in jail. His career, his life would be over. He'd have civil suits against him up and down the road. So where do we go from here? How do we stop this stuff from happening? How do we get to the point where we don't have to worry about this stuff anymore? Why is this news? Why is there any credibility towards this? An example needs to be made, and I think an example should be made for this woman. Do I want her to go to jail for the rest of her life? No, but she should definitely lose her job. That's the one thing, and she should pay a heavy penalty and a heavy fine for this. But we'll see on April 22nd, which is about 3 weeks away, where this leads. I guess the story is not going to be covered anymore because the media is not going to cover this because there's no legs to it. A black person lying doesn't. A black person lying about being harassed by white people doesn't have the legs that a story of civil rights abuse would. So, what are your thoughts on it? I'd like to hear your comments on this whole thing. How can we stop this? How did it get to this point? I mean, we've allowed these people, and specifically black women, to continually harass and mock and just I want to say ghetto size our society. I was looking at that Congresswoman, Crockett or Cratchit or whatever her name is. She is ratchet as hell. Sh- we're going to do a story about her on the next podcast, but she is an absolute animal. She curses in Congress. She curses at uh, Congress people who are who debate her. She was making fun of the governor of Texas, Abbott, who is in a wheelchair. She called she made an insensitive, inappropriate remark about him. I mean, this is like you're getting all this ghetto ratchet garbage in these high profile, highly important positions. And this is the reason why this country is headed down the tubes and going down the tubes very, very quickly because we don't have merit anymore. We have this DEI crap. We have uh, this social justice garbage that, well, we have to spread the wealth and we have to have different people. We have to have diversity. Diversity is our strength. No, it's not. Meritocracy is your strength. The Stoics always said that. The greats, the greats weren't there because of diversity. Napoleon was an outsider. He had to earn his way to being the greatest leader France has ever had. And can France use him right now? What I mean, Europe can use him right now because they are a disaster. But not to get off point. Let's see. We will talk about Latarsha at another time. But I just want to know what your comments were. What would you do if you were the judge? If you're the governor of this state, and the governor's name is Shapiro, and he's a Democrat, he probably won't do anything because he's a coward. But what would Latarsha Brown's future look like if you were there? I would make an example of her to make sure that this garbage doesn't happen anymore because we can't allow this. We cannot allow one person or a group of people to destroy this country that has been such a beacon of light for everyone. I mean, people are fighting. People are fighting to get here. They're swimming. They're digging tunnels. If it's such a crappy country, if it's so racist, if it's so unbearable, why do people want to come here? No, that's something that we all should think about. But Latarsha, a Pennsylvania woman, and I use that term loosely, uh, will be will be seeing her day in court on April 22nd. And again, just leave a comment, like, share if you can, and it always helps out to make this channel grow. And we're going to finish up with Latarsha, and we're going to go to a more important piece, like the man's memo. And today's man memo is a very important one. All the memos are very important. But I wanted to focus on today about your futures. Everything you want to become is right around the corner. You just have to walk that path. Change doesn't start with a big event. It starts with little small ones, right? A small act. Just getting off the couch can change your life. You're not as far from being the man you want to be as the mind tricks us into thinking, right? Who's our greatest enemy? It's us. It's we sabotage, we self-sabotage our thoughts. It's not some distant imaginary version of you that succeeds, but the version of you today that is willing to act on your purpose with development, creativity, and habit. But you must first focus with clarity. And that's what the man memo will be about today, clarity. Stoics reason that tomorrow is never promised, but we own today. And today is your superpower. Unlimited, untapped power to make things happen now. You don't need the perfect conditions. We don't need planets and the stars to be aligned. It can happen now. You don't need a year of change to be the man who you really are supposed to be. You only need the here and the now, that decisive moment that shifts your dreams into reality. That's the day, the catalyst that sets everything in motion. But you have to have clarity first. That one day turns into a week of habits that grow into 1 month that transforms you into the person you most recognize, that most won't recognize. You're no longer the person who wishes, you're the person who acts. The action is an obsession with that one motion. You're no longer guided by temporary motivation, but by your inner universe, your calling, your inner principles. Action. And Latin, and you got to forgive me for this because I didn't study Latin, but acta non verba. The Stoics believed in action, not words. This is the foundation needed if you are to evolve into your true self. Clarity, focus, that leads to your evolution. And this is the map of development, sparked in the fires of creativity and solidified by your productive and focused habits. This is an enduring philosophy practiced by Stoics themselves. You know, the Stoics did not believe in waiting, but in doing. These guys didn't just preach virtue; they lived it by example. They embodied it. Marcus Aurelius, man, that dude was probably the greatest leader that the world's ever seen because he could have slaughtered people by the thousands, but he didn't. He was a virtuous man. He embodied strength. And as we walk the Stoic path, we must be warriors just like he was, warriors of purpose. And with this map, you won't evolve over the course of years, but you can evolve literally. You can transform within weeks of activity, of active, unrelenting commitment to a life well lived. Stoic life is not about emotions. That's how women live. We as men make deliberate choices to build habits that anchor us to pursue excellence, not once, but every day. The Stoics taught us to always move forward, no matter the burden we carry. Epictetus wrote, "How long are you going to wait until you demand the very best of yourself?" That's a powerful question, man. That's like that hits right here, like right in the chest. Like how, we can control what we do, where we go, what we want. We control that. There's no set or perfect time to begin. The perfect time is the moment you decide to make that promise to yourself that you are sacred and only you. The day of honest forward motion can change your entire perception of yourself. It marks the beginning of a greater you. It's greater than some routine. It signals your evolution, starting first with your self respect. It's the unbreakable bond between you and the man you aspire to be. And you owe it to yourself. You owe it to your 8-year-old self who had dreams and would be so proud of you. You owe it to, if you have children, especially if you have sons, you owe it to them. But most importantly, you owe it to yourself. And it all starts with clarity, and clarity starts with trust. You begin to trust yourself more, and you won't self sabotage. You give yourself credibility and power to act without fear or hesitation. Begin your day by focusing or anchoring your mind to a purpose, always reminding yourself that this moment, this day matters, and you won't waste it. There's no more wasting days, wasting time. Don't stop scrolling, put the phone down. Don't wait for the text from some chick because they're worthless. You are a man of substance, of true character, and you will live like it today and every day, never abandoning your virtue. Remember, your virtue is priceless. You are the prize. You are priceless. Marcus Aurelius mastered walking this path in harmony, even when surrounded by massive adversity. I mean, this guy probably had things thrown at him like there was no tomorrow. He had people who probably wanted to kill him. He had traitors with the knives out, looking to stab him in the back at any time. But he didn't worry about that. And why? Why don't you worry about people who are going to betray you or try to hurt you? Because he had his own code, a code that he lived by. This code was your code. that ignites the fire within you. The dormant fire long suffocated by doubt, hesitation, procrastination, and self sabotage. The person you'll become refuses to betray himself. You act because your time is precious. Your word means everything, and you have to trust yourself. You cannot break your word for anything, especially to yourself, because you can't fool yourself. The guy in the mirror that's staring back at you knows you're bullshitting him, so you can't bullshit him. When I go to the gym, it's not just to build muscle or to stay in shape. It's also to clear my mind. Build the body in one area reverberates into all other areas, including the mind. That's a very, very, very important thing. And that's the man memo today. I hope that helped. It was all about clarity, and clarity is very, very important. Focus, clarity, it all leads to you evolving as a better man, as a better person, and as a virtuous man. And I hope that that helped a little bit. We're going to continue these podcasts. I have been on. If you're going to watch these early podcasts, you can tell I'm pretty raw at this. But over the last couple of weeks, I've been very, very sick, and so my voice, I get sinus issues, and my voice has been off. So I will continue to keep doing this. It doesn't matter how you start; it just matters that you start. And I encourage all of you to do something that scares you. And this it doesn't scare me, but it's a little different than what I'm used to. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. There'll be more Backbone podcasts coming up. Hopefully 2 to 3 a week. Hopefully, God willing, and we'll leave it at that because we are going over now. I just want you to always focus on the clarity of things and make sure that you're not poisoned by the stupid distractions that ruin men. Remember what the Godfather said. Don't be careless. Women and children can be careless, but never men. Strength with honor. All right. Thank you for spending the time with me. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And as I say, gentlemen, be careful out there. Satan is always busy. Be a man. Have a backbone, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing for. We'll see you later.